I'm your host, Megan Wade, and today I have with me Rebecca Bryan. She is the Community Engagement Supervisor with ECKERD Connects. And we will be hearing about ECKERD Connects and Project Bridge. Welcome, Rebecca, to the Release to Shine podcast.
Thank you, Megan. Thank you for having me on.
You are welcome. Now, Rebecca, please give us an overview of ECKERD Connects.
Absolutely. So ECKERD Connects was founded in 1968. For those of you who have been in the state of Florida for many years, Jack and Ruth ECKERD were owners and philanthropists. They owned the ECKERD pharmacy chain. And being the philanthropists that they were, they started a nonprofit called ECKERD Connects. And within ECKERD Connects, there are many, many, many different types of programs, all targeting helping families and youth in various different ways. There are foster care programs, there are workforce programs, there are youth rehab camps. Just like I said, a myriad of different types of programs. And I work for one of the programs. So I'm the Community Engagement Supervisor for ECKERD Connects Project Bridge. So just one of the many programs within the nonprofit that is ECKERD Connects. And Jack and Ruth ECKERD envisioned a program to create healthy and successful alternatives for children and their families to turn their lives around. So it started as a very private, small boys wilderness therapy program. And we still have one of those wilderness programs in operation today up in like the northwest corner of Florida. And that program is called E26. It's an old Indian name, but it is a girls wilderness therapy program. So a very long legacy of helping children and families in the state of Florida and beyond.
Thank you for that, Rebecca. Now I see that there are a number of programs that ECKERD is focusing on, but today we're talking about Project Bridge. That is the focus of today's interview. Another time, we're going to bring you on to talk about some of the others, or perhaps some of your colleagues who are involved in those other programs can join us. Tell us about Project Bridge.
We would love to share about the programs that ECKERD Connects does have. Project Bridge is a program that is working in conjunction with the Department of Juvenile Justice. So many of our young men and young women have been involved with the Department of Juvenile Justice in some way. To be accurate, our young men and women have been in trouble with the law in some way. Many of them in juvenile residential facilities. And that could be anywhere from like 6 months to 2 or more years. And we know from studies that over 80% of those youth will recidivate. And that's just a big fancy word for they will reoffend if there isn't a program, an intervention, or a transitions program that is put into place. The statistics are very high that they will reoffend. So we are considered a transitions program. We want those youth to transition out of residential facilities back into their community in a healthy and high functioning way and keep them from reoffending. So whatever resources they need to keep them from reoffending, that's why we exist.
Okay.
We work in partner with DJJ.
Thank you, Rebecca. What sort of training do they get in those programs?
When a youth commits a crime, they go to court, they go before a judge, and the judge will sentence them to whatever is appropriate for the crime that they committed or their background, whether this has been their first offense or not their first offense. And then they will be remanded to a facility or juvenile residential facility. We don't operate those facilities. Those facilities are all either privately or operated through the state. And then whatever that period of time is, while they're in those programs, a lot of these youth earn their high school diploma. They can earn their GED. They can earn different certifications, depending again on what their background is and what their charge was. They may get counseling. They may get group counseling. They may get substance abuse counseling, whatever that may be. The residential programs that they're in will provide some layer of counseling and different things for them to do. They're not just sitting in a program doing nothing for all hours of the day. They are working towards being released, and whatever that looks like. The plan is tailored to each youth for the most part when they're in those programs. And then when they're released or about to be released, that's when we come in and we actually start connecting with the youth while they're still in their program. We have a pre-service group that reaches out to each program, finds out who the youth are that are in our service areas and when they're going to be released. And then we start asking them, what are you interested in? How can we help you? And then DJJ will make the recommendation or the referral to Project Bridge if it's appropriate.
Rebecca, please share with us who DJ
Department of Juvenile Justice.
Okay. How many young men and women are in this program currently?
So Project Bridge covers Central and South Florida, and everything we do is by the judicial circuit. So we cover all the judicial circuits basically in the Central region and the South region of Florida. And at any given time, both regions together combined serve roughly about 300 youth. We have a census, and each circuit has however many youth that they can serve within their circuit. We serve about 148, 149 youth in both regions. So it's about 300 at any given time.
Great.
When they come into our program, we offer them a myriad of services. Do they want to work on their education? Do they want to work on getting a job? Sometimes if the youth have already completed their education, then we want to give them certifications and different things to help them enter the workforce. We sit down with them, we tailor make a program that's just for them. We're not trying to make them fit in any kind of, we're not trying to send them to work if they need to focus on their education. And we're not trying to send them to college if they need to help support their family. So whatever that looks like for them, we work with them on those goals. And then once they reach their goals, the judge and the JPO, juvenile parole officer, will reevaluate and say, yes, this young person is ready for release, or no, they can stay a little bit longer and work on XYZ.
Can you share with us specifically some of the benefits that Project Bridge brings to the lives of these young people?
Absolutely. Well, we have our core services, which are education and mentoring, and then careers or job placement. And that looks a little different for every child, for every youth. For some youth that are coming back into the community, they can no longer attend mainstream school because of their charges. Or in the case of one of our youth, the school did not want to let him back in because of his charge. And we advocated for this youth in a meeting with the principal and the school board. His case manager advocated for him. They took him back in spite of the fact that they originally said no, and this youth just graduated with honors. Sometimes they can't go back into mainstream school, and we get that. But if there's a possibility and we feel that the youth is really, going to be successful, we will advocate. We will fight for them and make sure they get the best scenario that they need. Now, sometimes the youth have struggled in education or have issues with going back into a mainstream school setting. And if that's the case and they're old enough and they want to get their GED, we offer GED services. We have GED instructors. They can come to us. We can help them and they'll get their GED. And then a lot of times, once kids have a little bit of success in the realm of education, it's amazing. All of a sudden, a youth that didn't want anything to do with education passes his GED with flying colors and decides he wants to go to college. It's amazing. So we do education, various, like I said, custom fit to each child, whatever we feel is going to be the most benefit for them and bring success. We also have mentoring services. Every youth that wants to be paired with a mentor, we do mentoring. We talk about life skills. We teach them how to cook, and just all kinds of fun things are involved in that. We do gender specific skills with them. So we talk about, all the things. And again, in hopes that they can achieve some level of safety and success. Inconsistency and instability is a big deal for the youth that we work with. They don't have mom and dad at home. Did you do your homework today? Did you clean your room? And those kinds of things. And so being consistent with our youth and just really focusing on those life skills and things that we may take for granted is huge to them. So we do mentoring. We love outside mentoring. We have community partners and different people that are passionate about working with this population of youth. They come in, they maybe talk about their business or whatever it could be, farming, real estate, just being leaders in the community, learning how to start a small business, whatever that may be. So we invite community partners to do mentoring as well. And then the last thing is career development. We help our youth get certifications, like a myriad of certifications, OSHA, Serve Safe. I mean, any kind of certification that the youth is interested in, we'll find it and we will try to help them get it. And then in addition to that, we teach them skills on how to interview, how to dress. If they don't have the proper clothes for an interview, we'll help them get the clothes that they need for an interview, just whatever that takes. And we will see it through to hopefully when they're discharged, they have a job and that it's a job that they enjoy. Fast food is great. It's a great starter job for a lot of people, but it's not the job for everybody. And so we want to be sure that when we pair youth with a job, that they're going to stick to it, something that they're going to want to do. I just spoke with a manager of a Chipotle yesterday and was explaining to her that we have youth in the area that may be interested in jobs and just making a connection. And I explained to her that all of our youth will get them Serve Safe certifications before. And her eyes lit up like I said, Merry Christmas. And she was so excited. And to know that our youth are being mentored, that they are prepared when they come, and that someone else is holding them accountable. What are your shifts this week? Are you going to work? Do you have transportation? Do you have the clothes that you need? We're helping get them to a place that they can then take on those responsibilities for themselves. Those are the three core things.
Thanks, Rebecca. Can you share with us the age group that you are taking care of at this point?
We can serve youth from ages 11 to 21. The bulk of our population are typically 14 to 18, mainly like 15, 16, 17, 18 are the condensed, but we can serve youth anywhere from ages 11 to age 21.
Alrighty. You shared one success story. I know there are several more. Can you give us 2 more?
I can give you 10 more, 20 more. Recently, we had a young man. His name's Giovanni, Miss Megan. This kid, he's just a bright light, honestly. He came to the program and he found himself in a situation in his life where both of his grandparents, whom he was very close to, passed away within a short period of time of each other. The youth was very involved in basketball in his school. And when his grandparents passed away, it was gut-wrenching for him. And his grades started to slip. And when his grades started to slip, he lost the ability to play basketball. When he lost the ability to play basketball, he just kind of gave up. And he found himself hanging with the wrong crowd and making wrong choices. And that led to him being sent to a juvenile residential facility to answer for the crime that he committed. And while there, the youth had such a mindset change that he kind of came to us like ready to go. He came to Project Bridge with the mindset that please help me do whatever I need to do because I don't want to go back. I don't want to be a statistic. I don't want to be in this cycle. I want it out of the cycle. So show me the way. And one of the things that we love doing with our youth, especially, depending on the charges that they have, some high paying careers might not be for them. But if we can help them be passionate about starting a small business, then who knows what kind of income sources that they could have. So this very entrepreneurial minded young man decided that he was going to start a small business someday. Well, he took a job at Home Depot, and while on the pressure washer aisle, he decided, you know what, I think I could maybe start a pressure washing business, which led to, nope, I'm going to start an auto detailing business. And the young man actually left his job at Home Depot to take a part-time job because he works his auto detailing business part-time. He's about to transition into full-time for his auto detailing business. He details airplanes and yachts and high-end motor vehicles. He's amazing. But anyway, last year we nominated him for a Department of Juvenile Justice Youth Ambassador Award, and he won. Only 3 youth in the state of Florida were chosen from all of DJJ, and he was one of the 3. We took him to Tallahassee. He got to go sit at a roundtable discussion with the First Lady, Casey DeSantis, the Secretary of the Department of Juvenile Justice, Dr. Eric Hall, the Secretary of the Department of Children and Families, and 2 other youth, and Giovanni were sitting in a roundtable circle. It was honestly, it was one of the highlights of my life, really. He was not originally asked to speak. The First Lady had a press conference, and he was originally not slated to speak at that press conference. He was slated to speak later in the evening, but she was so impressed by him that she called him up in the middle of a press conference live, and Giovanni delivered a spectacular speech on the spot there live, standing next to Casey DeSantis. We were so blessed, but just last week, he was invited to go to the Hope Florida Summit. And again, if you're not aware, Hope Florida is a resource connecting program that is the vision of Casey DeSantis. You can go on hopeflorida.com, I believe it is, or .gov, and be connected to all kinds of resources. If you are a single mom in need of some assistance, or there's just a myriad. They just opened it up to the Department of Juvenile Justice families, and this Hope Florida initiative is amazing, but they had invited Giovanni. Can Giovanni come and speak? And so we took him to Orlando on Tuesday, and he was on a panel again with the Secretary of DJJ. I believe it was the Director of Guardian Ad Litem program, and he spoke about mentoring. He talked about the importance of having a mentor, and as did the other members of the panel. We know, statistically speaking, that if there's not some type of intervention in the lives of these youth, they will be caught up in the cycle. And for some of our youth, they're 3rd generation or more in this cycle. I have a youth in Central Florida whose mom is in prison and his grandmother is on probation. This is a 3-generation legacy, and we have to stop. We have to get this youth on a path to self-sufficiency, to independence, to sustainability that doesn't involve repeating this cycle. So that's what we exist to do. And I'm so proud to work for this organization because they allow us every day to think outside the box. If a youth calls and they have a certain need, it may not be something that is written into our program, but we'll find the money and we will go after it, and we will help this youth be successful, whatever it takes. So I'm so proud to work for Project Bridge.
I am elated right now. I am happy that I am becoming a mentor of Project Bridge.
We are too.
At this moment, I'm going to allow you to make a call to individuals, those who may be retired, those who have a little time on their hands, to become a mentor with Project Bridge. So I'm going to give you that opportunity, Rebecca, to just make that appeal, because mentoring these young minds will help to change our own communities. Everybody wants to fight crime. This is a way to help with the fighting of crime. Become involved in the life of a teen who feel that life doesn't even make sense at this point. What a difference we can make in somebody's life. Rebecca, you go ahead and you talk.
Well, I want to share a little bit just about my story. I graduated from college in 2019, and in my last semester of college, I was given the assignment to do an internship, and I was connected with Project Bridge. And I was so struck by the youth. I've never worked with at-risk youth in my life, so I didn't know what to expect. And the respect that I received from these youth, the way that my eyes were opened to the struggles that they face, to just so much that I just didn't know. And we see things on TV and we hear about things, but we really don't know. And I was just so struck by the program. I graduated and I went on to take this job in financial services. And I just thought it's just going to be the best thing ever. And something kept drawing me back to Project Bridge. And it was the kids, it was the youth. And I just want to say that the thing I hear over and over and over again from our youth is, it's so good to have someone checking on me. Mm. It's so good to have someone call me and see how I'm doing. To be a mentor with Project Bridge, you don't have to have all the answers. You don't. You just have to listen. And you don't have to have all these skills, and you just have to have some time, honestly, to sit, to listen, whatever, to just be a friend, be an ear. We're not asking you to solve all their problems. They just want someone to listen. They just want someone to check on them. I didn't mention this, but we have wraparound services. So once our youth are successfully completed with Project Bridge, we follow them for up to a year after they complete the program. And all we do is call them or text them or both and say, hey, how's it going? I haven't talked to you in a while. Is everything okay? The thing I hear over and over and over again, it's so good to know that someone's checking on me.
Wonderful.
And then the recidivation, the cycle stops.
Yes.
It breaks because someone's checking, someone cares. Someone out there cares. And they care about what you're doing. They care about where you're going. They care about how well you're doing in school, or if you have enough to eat, and all those things. So you don't have to have a degree. You don't have to have any special skill set. Whatever you have, it will be enough.
Passion, the passion for working with these youth.
And I promise your eyes will be open. I promise that your heart will be full. It's just, honestly, it's so rewarding, and it takes very little to just be able to give your time. And I know time is a valuable resource. But when we think, like you said, about fighting crime, when we think about the potential impact that could be had, like in a life like Giovanni, Giovanni could have been a statistic. Giovanni has 3 small businesses now, by the way, Miss Megan. He has 3. So, and then you asked me for some other stories. One of the first youth that I worked with, his name was Ben. Ben was adopted, and with several of his siblings, and at the age of 18, they were all just sent away. And so it was very hard for him to be rejected, not just by your biological family, but then by your adoptive family as well. And he made some terrible choices, but Ben was such a hard worker. I remember Ben got a job at a taco truck, and they would have to make Ben go home. He just loved being at the taco truck so much because he loved being useful. He loved making people smile by the food that they were making. He loved collecting a paycheck, but he just loved being useful. And the owner of the taco truck really tried to help him grow. Hey, this is how you cut the vegetables properly. This is how we order food. This is how we do customer service, and really just took Ben in and really helped him grow in so many areas. He was so hungry for that. Literally, he would work like 12 or 14 hours. They would say, you have to go home. Like, today, Ben is doing great. Ben has a job. I believe it's like a diesel mechanic. He works on motorhomes and things like that. He's doing so well. I have no doubt I'm going to get a call from Ben soon that he's starting a family of his own. Sometimes it could be just so simple as you just being someone who cares, someone who says, hey, I'm going to show you, let me show you how to do that. Or what are you interested in? How can we work towards getting you helping that dream come true, or just a listening ear. So if you are interested in becoming a mentor with Project Bridge, the process is fairly simple. We give you all the training that you need, and the qualification really is passing a level 2 background check and making sure you have 2 years.
Loves that.
You can hear well, and that's pretty much it.
That's it. What messages do you have for a parent who is struggling with a wayward child who needs this program?
I would have to say, be sure to advocate for your youth and work with their JPO, their juvenile parole officer, work with DJJ, the Department of Juvenile Justice, and advocate for them to get in some kind of mentoring program, whether it be mentoring with Project Bridge or maybe mentoring in your local church or something along those lines. Because again, without any type of intervention, the statistics are not good in favor of youth not ending up in a cycle. DJJ makes the referral to us. They're the ones who, send the youth our way. So if that's a possibility for you, I would say explore that. Or in addition to that, like I said, just trying to find some mentoring for your youth in whatever program. And a lot of communities do have other mentoring programs. So that's really important.
But what if the child is not yet in the hands of the legal system? The child is getting into trouble, but nothing to put them in prison for even a night.
I would say work with your school, work with the education system, work with, if you've had any kind of maybe law enforcement involvement that may have not resulted in an arrest, but you've had law enforcement involvement, reach out to the local law enforcement and ask, I feel like my youth is on a path that is not good. Are there any prevention programs? We are not on the prevention side, we're on the transition side, but there are prevention programs that are in communities. And so I would be seeking a prevention program. And again, like I said, working with your school, talking to the dean of discipline or the guidance and administration at your school and asking them for help, because a lot of times they know these resources and can be a resource to you as well. They don't want to see your youth get in trouble any more than you do. They really don't. So whatever they can do to help get ahead of it. And I know the Secretary of the Department of Juvenile Justice is also, he takes a very proactive approach to youth and their DJJ involvement, and any way that we can get ahead of it so that they don't end up in the system, so that they don't end up having to getting in trouble. Any way we can get ahead of it, we will. And so I would say work with your local government, your Department of Education and law enforcement, and see what programs are available.
How can one donate to this program? Because I'm sure that some of our listeners will want to contribute. And do you take cash and clothing?
That's a great question, and I'm so glad you asked. So our operating expenses are mainly funded through the Department of Juvenile Justice. But like I talked about earlier, there are often times when we see a need. Right now we're seeing a high level of gun violence involvement, and we want to get ahead of that. We want to educate our youth about gun violence and the outcomes that are resulting from that. So we want to start another program within our program that's going to educate and allow our youth a forum to start talking about these things, and how can we then help them get ahead of that. So when we find things like this, we want to raise the funds to be able to start these initiatives. Same thing like I talked about with small business. We were able to raise funds that helped us purchase some things for Giovanni and his business. He got a carpet steamer machine that enables him to really get cars cleaner than just a shop vac that he was using originally, right? He's got a steamer cleaner vacuum thing now. And so we've been able to start some of our kids with like a t-shirt making business and just different things like that. We've helped a couple of youth get their LLC, so we pay for those types of things. But those things, again, they don't come out of our operating expenses. We have to raise funds for that. So you can give to Project Bridge by going on ECKERD.org, and that's ECKERD.org. And when you do, it says give to ECKERD Connects. You just click on it. In the comments line, when you donate, ECKERD Connects has many, many, many programs. If you put Project Bridge in the comments section, that money will come back to Project Bridge. So just be sure that, Project Bridge is the program that you want to donate to and that you put that in the comments line. In addition to that, we have fundraisers and different things going on in South, which is the region that you're in, Megan. We did the Elite Luncheon and we were able to raise over $10,000 for that program. Now in Central Florida, we're doing a virtual 5K, and we're hoping to raise about $14,000 for Central Florida region as well.
Okay, so that's the program that I attended some time ago. That is where you raised those funds.
Yeah, we raised the funds. We had sponsorships, and then we raffled up a ton of donated baskets that were just beautiful and oh my goodness, amazing baskets. So yeah, that event was like the culmination of that fundraiser. I also want to say, you asked me about cash and clothing. We do take clothing on an as needed basis because we don't always have the storage for things like that. Some of our circuit offices do have room for storage, some don't. So we kind of take them as needed. If you have clothing or different things, I could put you in touch with whatever circuit is in your area. But we don't always take clothing. We do like to have clothing on hand in case the youth, need an interview outfit or different things like that. But we don't always have the space for that. So that's how we work the clothing situation. And then as far as cash goes, we prefer not to take cash only because, electronically the funds go right into the account and we don't have to handle the cash. But if someone is insisting on only donating via cash, we can definitely make that happen as well.
Those information will be in the show notes.
Awesome.
Once you watch this video, the information will be in the show notes. You click on that and you're able to contribute to this worthy cause. Remember, recidivism, big word, but it just simply means we're trying to eliminate the reoffending of these young people. And if we begin to help now, recidivism can be eliminated. Can you imagine? That would be something. Do you have job fairs for these young people, or is it so hard to find employers who are willing to hire someone with a background issue?
No, we don't host job fairs, but we take our youth to community job fairs all over, wherever, in whatever community they're in. If there's a job fair, we have career coaches in every circuit. If there's a job fair in their region, more than likely we'll be taking them to those job fairs. Our career coaches are involved in a lot of different job fairs. I think like once a month, at least, everybody goes to some kind of job fair in their area. I spoke with the Chipotle manager just yesterday, and a lot of small businesses, especially these small businesses with high turnover, they want our youth because they know that our youth are being trained, our youth are being mentored, and we're going to make sure that our youth is set up for success. I had a youth recently who didn't have transportation, and we were able to buy him a bicycle. Well, he really wanted to go work at this place that was really too far for him to be riding his bicycle to. And we showed him the area. We took him out, and I drove him around in my car for probably a couple of hours one afternoon. And like, have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? And so he literally just would get out and take his, resume in and do his little application. And we applied to several more jobs that were within biking distance for him, because it's not going to do anybody any good if we say, okay, well, you're going to bike 6 miles, to this job, where you could bike 5 blocks to this job and make the same or maybe even more money. So let's see what the possibilities are. And so again, we're just trying to expose our youth to things that they may not know, ideas and careers and avenues that they just haven't explored. And so whatever that looks like, like I said, we'll load them up in the car, we'll drive them around, we'll do whatever, whatever we have to do.
That's what it takes, whatever it takes, right?
Whatever it takes.
Rebecca, this has been stimulating. It has been interesting. It is more than interesting. I'm telling you, this has been one of my favorite interviews to date. I want to thank you for coming and sharing. But is there any last points that you'd like to make about Project Bridge and these young men and women who you're helping?
Well, obviously these kids have a special place in my heart. And anytime I know you were at the elite luncheon, and we had some youth that were speaking there. And I would venture a guess that everyone in that room now also has a heart for these youth. And, when you're able to be around them, when you're able to connect with them, there's no greater feeling than knowing that you can make a difference in the life of a young person and change the trajectory of the course of their life. And it's truly remarkable. And I think I a lot of times go through life not understanding the power that we are given to really impact for the positive. And for every youth's life that is impacted, for every life that's turned around, the community is benefiting. So it's not just you benefiting from the rewarding feeling that you get from working with the youth. It's not just the youth benefiting because now they're turning their life around, but the community is benefiting as well. And so I just want to push you off the fence. If you are on the fence and you aren't sure, come and take a look. Come to one of our events or come into the circuit and see what we do and meet some of our youth. Or I would love to connect with you in any way that I can. That's one thing I want to say. The other thing I want to say, and we didn't talk about this, but this is such a rewarding place to work. And so we have careers and things that are open all the time. Again, if you go on that ECKERD.org and look for careers available, we have tons of programs. Project Bridge, again, is just one cog in the wheel, but you can search for jobs within Project Bridge or other. But ECKERD Connects is an amazing place to work, to just wake up every morning and know that you're doing good in the community is so rewarding. I wake up in the morning and I get my coffee and I'm like to work before I just want to see what's going on today. What do we need to do? Who's rocking and rolling? What needs to happen? And it's just so rewarding for me. I'm so blessed. And I always tell people we can go get these fancy jobs at these beautiful polished offices. But at the end of the day, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. It's addicting to some degree, just being able to see the light turn on in these young people and see their hearts change and see them get it. There's nothing like it. So ECKERD.org, or hopefully you'll put my name in my email address, my contact information in the show notes. And
Sure.
Please feel free to reach out to me. I would love to talk to you and share more about this amazing program.
What an interview we have had today. What an interview. Rebecca, I'm just saying thanks for sharing. Thank you so much. And I know that there are many individuals who will be signing up as mentors. I trust that business people will come on board to help with the community services, because community service is also a part of the program. And we're encouraging business owners to get on board and let some of these young people into your organization to work.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you.
We can change the community one
One youth at a
child.
time.
Oh my God. We can change our community. Can you imagine young people who were lost are now finding their way because of a program called Project Bridge? I'm an advocate, and I'm saying to those out there who are listening, please get on board so that we can change our communities, not just here in Florida, but across the globe. Take interest in our young men and women who are lost. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to connecting with any of your viewers at any time.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sure this one is going to make a difference. It is going to make a difference, Rebecca.
Thank
Just
you.
us talking together will make a difference.
I agree. Thank you so much.
Overlooked for a youthful mind, you're released to shine. Frozen cast